Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, welcome back to another segment of What Books Did Chris Buy in 2003 because he was interested in subjects that were adjacent to Xenosaga.
Okay. Can I close my eyes and guess?
Yes.
Did you buy the Playboy with China from D-Generation X on the cover to learn more about Xenosaga?
Are you ready?
I did not, Eric. I bought a book called Kabbalah.
Oh, gosh.
A definitive history of evolution, ideas, leading figures, and extraordinary influence of Jewish mysticism.
I think most white people heard about that through Madonna.
Yeah. And so I'm going to open up a random page and read something for you.
Page 69, please.
We also know of considerable Kabbalistic activity in Morocco. Abraham Saba's Zehor Hamor, 1523, written between 1498 and 1501 in Fez, became a classic of Kabbalistic exegesis on the Torah. I saw exegesis on there and I had to say it.
I mean, you mentioned Fez. I didn't necessarily get I liked playing that game for the music, but the deeper hooks didn't really get in me.
If you would like to purchase a actual Fez hat, you can buy them at Epcot in the Morocco section.
Okay, that doesn't sound racially insensitive.
And you can appropriate some culture
right
there, just like the old days.
Okay, yeah.
You want to hear some hot sounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5. We are covering Xenosaga, Episode 1, The Will to Shower.
Sick.
My name is Chris. Today I'm joined by Eric. Hello.
Tonight, Chris.
Today, whenever you're listening to this podcast, it is that time of day for us too, because we are with you at all times in your hearts. Also in our hearts is the RealNet, a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live. Hello, RealNet. Thank you for joining us. And if you would like to join the RealNet and join us on a live recording session, go to patreon.com/retroam and get in the Discord.
We're also joined by the FakeNet, our post-production AI companion, who also handled vocal duties on the Night Beginner track of Sega's Scud Race.
Initializing FakeNet.
That game wasn't called Scud Race in the United States due to the association with Scud missiles.
Scud Race.
I set up my Model 3 emulator, Supermodel, and I've been playing a lot of Sega Model 3 arcade games, such as Scud Race, the follow-up to Daytona USA, of course, Chris.
Cool.
I think it was called Sega GT in America.
And there also a game called Scud for Dreamcast or something?
For Saturn, following Scud, the Disposable Assassin.
Yeah,
I also have that game. It sucks ass.
Okay, cool. So, Eric, we are, we change our discs in our hearts, sort of, and we're moving on to another section of the video game.
We shifted to a different layer of the DVD. Let's call it that.
Oh, yes, the layers. Remember reading about layers in magazines?
Yeah, layers section, good PlayStation game. But this is an escape pod out in space. Shion and Alan are inside of it. Cherenkov is surfing it, and KOSMOS is just flipping out. But we're going to catch up with them later, as now we're on a new spaceship. It drifts by through the debris field of the Waglinde.
Yeah, it's a little bit sleeker looking, and it's clearly non-military as well.
It's also very PS2, and I don't quite know how to articulate that.
I think everybody that listens to this podcast knows what you mean.
Okay. What a mess, a voice remarks.
What a mess. Whoever it was, they sure went all out. You think there's anything left out there? Hey, Tony. How long before the Federation gets here?
Chris, that voice belongs to the captain of the Elsa.
Yes, Captain Matthews.
That's right. Is Matthews the first name, or is it just Captain Matthews?
As far as I know, it's Captain Matthews. He's voiced by
Kirk Thornton in all 3 episodes. You may know him as Commander from The
Bouncer,
Syax in Kingdom Hearts 2, and Shadow the fucking Hedgehog since 2010.
Yes, indeed. Also, I've got Igor from Persona 5, at least. I don't know if he went back further.
Oh, Igor in Persona 5 is a weird version of Igor because of spoilers.
Yes.
Okay.
Champa from Dragon Ball Super, Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Super, and Asimov Solensan, which I didn't write who Asimov...
What the fuck kind of name?
He's the... Asimov Solensan.
Stop saying the name and tell me who it is.
A character in the first episode of Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, cool.
He sprays a bunch of fucking drugs in his eyes and goes crazy.
I would love to do that. You got any Banaka?
What, watch Cowboy Bebop?
No, spray drugs in my eyes.
Blu-ray. You want to borrow it?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll give you some Captain Matthews facts from the database.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do that now or later?
Whenever it's relevant. Okay. Is it relevant now?
Fucking, I don't know.
All right.
Captain Matthews was born in Transcend Christ, 4727. He's age
36?
40.
40.
Yeah, he's
Same age as Sid.
Yeah, he's the captain of the passenger cargo ship Elsa. A chronic spender, he is constantly in debt. In particular, he owes a large sum to the Kukai Foundation, and his beautiful ship was also made into collateral. After retiring, he worked as a junk trader collecting and selling debris from around the universe, but in recent years, he works mainly for the Kukai Foundation.
Retiring from what? Okay.
Space, he's a space trucker, probably.
Space, okay, yeah.
And speaking of that, there's another paragraph here, but it's stuff we'll get to later. But speaking of that, as we meet this crew, even though I've played this game before, if I hadn't played this game before, I would immediately see these fuckers and be like, these are space junkers.
Oh, yeah.
These are salvagers.
Yeah.
These are those kind of guys.
Junkmans.
Yeah.
Like, their ship is honestly too clean for their station.
Yeah, and I love that when like these dudes occupy that very specific archetype that probably doesn't have a name. It's like an unrefined space vagrant, sort of. Like, these are guys that are not clean-shaven that are in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just dudes. The dirty part of space.
It cuts to the bridge of the ship. Tony, blonde hair, is apparently steering the Elsa. Helmsman, I think that's called. He replies,
Well, let's see. The last SOS went out a half an hour ago, so... We've probably got at least 3 hours, right? No sign of any nearby ships either. Right, Hammer?
Yeah, and this bridge in here is not quite an anime space bridge like we saw in the Waglinde, but it does have that like slightly off-center captain chair. It's off to the side, not in the middle like Captain Picard. And the navigator has got his own little hub.
Chris, in this first episode of Xenosaga, Tony is voiced by Tony Oliver, who you may know from Robotech as Rick Hunter.
Sure.
Something called Rurouni Kenshin as Daigoro. And, of course, Toromaru from Squid Girl as Clark.
Oh, you missed a couple, Eric.
Okay.
He played Arsene Lupin III at least once. Minato Namikaze from Naruto. Killy from Suikoden 5.
Nice. Jesus.
And Shaft from Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Shaft?
The Dark Priest Shaft.
I don't remember that. Did you just Mandela effect that into my reality? Is that real?
No, yeah, Shaft is the Dark Priest, I think, who resurrects Dracula.
Okay.
That's
who it always is, I guess.
You want to hear some stuff about Tony, Eric?
Yeah, Tony me up, man. Give me that pizza.
Tony's age 29 years old. He's the pilot of the passenger cargo ship Elsa. Normally handsome and debonair. Normally handsome and debonair.
Usually.
He completely changes when he's in the pilot seat. To his credit, though, he is in fact a brilliant pilot, having saved the Elsa from countless perils.
I do like seeing people get into work mode when they start expressing their skill or talent that you didn't know they had.
That is a cool thing when you see somebody. Definitely a ladies' man, according to the the database.
Very pretty. His buddy is the Elsa's navigator. His name is Hammer.
Hammer. Can you get a whiff?
Oh, I just got a whiff. Yeah.
All right.
Fucking Hammer.
That's number 10.
Hammer says,
Yep. We're the only ship within a 5,000 light year radius.
Chris Hammer in this first episode is voiced by Michael Lindsay. Mr. Lindsay passed away in 2019. Before he died, he voiced Kankuro in something called Naruto.
Yes.
Amuro Ray in the early 80s dub of Mobile Suit Gundam. And Theodore Ted in Suikoden 4.
Oh, did he? I missed that one. Wow. He only did the Amuro Ray voice in the...
I don't know what that is. It just said Gundam, so I wrote it down.
Yeah, Amuro Ray is like the main character of the original Gundam.
I believe you.
But he had a different voice actor for the TV series. This guy did the voice for the movies for some reason. You want to hear about Hammer before
Tell me
about...
Immediately, I'm like, don't trust him. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. Hammer! He's age 27 years old. Lots of adults in this video game, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Navigator on the passenger cargo ship Elsa. He may not look like it, but he was once revered as a brilliant hacker in his teens. However, he got in way over his head when he hacked into a criminal organization's database, and he has been on the run since then. He was rescued by Matthews, and the two have worked together ever since. He knows Tony, the pilot, since childhood. Although he may be a clown, he is an excellent navigator and engineer.
And Hammer presents a different evolutionary branch of the nerd dork from Alan.
Oh, yeah. He's got... he's
some confidence.
He's expressing himself with his tall hair.
Yes.
And his headband and his large glasses.
Paul Phoenix looking ass.
Alan he just is who he is. He doesn't express himself.
Yeah.
In any way.
Yeah.
Other than being fucking Alan.
Matthew's voice booms back in as we get a face reveal. All right. And then he super stomps his left leg and the plated bridge floor. He says that should be enough. Then he does the thing where he punches the open palm of his hand like an anime.
Yeah.
Let's grab anything that looks salvageable. Chris, this man who looked old when I was young, but now looks young that I am old. Caution, he's a boozer is Captain Matthews. Caution, he's a boozer. Chris, why does his fucking hat say caution, I'm a boozer, bonsai, bonsai?
Because he used to be a boozer. He is a boozer.
He is a boozer.
He is a boozer.
So do you warn people about your addictions?
Has anybody ever figured this out? Like what the
Why the
origin
fuck
of this, like why this is in the game?
Before we did this, I talked about like making this hat and wearing it as my uniform for this season.
Yeah.
I did for the first episode, sort of.
You mentioned this too, but Captain Matthews did do that very specific like space ruffian jig where he like puts out his cigarette, exhales smoke, stomp foot, pound fist, like,
Yes.
all in succession.
Mm-hmm. He's smoking in space, by the way. I don't know if you point that out. He is caution. He's a smoker.
Yeah, also true.
Hammer chimes in.
You know, Captain, I realize the deadline for paying back Master Guinan is right around the corner, but don't you think this is a little risky? If the feds find us out, we'd be lucky to get 10 years.
So, Chris, we owe someone named Guinan money.
Yeah.
And Guinan likes to play it by the book, but we're going off model and salvaging a recently exploded vector experimental fleet.
Yes. And Matthews' kind of counter here is that he says that the feds aren't going to come patrol all the way out here in the middle of nowhere.
As far as they know. Chris, quick question. Is space salvager the most popular job in space science fiction?
Oh, God. It's got to be, right?
That's all I know.
The private sector, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not a government worker,
Not in the military, not a government worker, not doing science experiments funded by an evil corporation, are you destined to be a salvager?
are there non-government astronauts in science fiction, or are all astronauts government workers?
In science fiction?
Yes.
Surely. I mean, it's a broad range of...
But, well, I mean, you could be a space salvager and put a spacesuit on and go out into space, but you're not an astronaut, right?
Well, Dr. Dre said that he gets plenty of ass so that he's an astronaut. So by that definition, I think an astronaut is just a state of mind.
like Tony.
Yeah. Tony's an astronaut. I think at this point, everybody's fucking astronaut, unless you're born on some colony, you never leave, you go into space.
Okay.
Like astronaut's just like a citizen at this point, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Fake net, what are the terms of an astronaut?
Initializing fake net.
An astronaut is a person who is trained to travel in a spacecraft. By this definition, I suppose one needs pilot training and cannot simply be a space passenger.
Interesting.
A more apprehensive Hammer becomes the ethicist. He says,
Well, I just don't like the idea of feeding off the dead. I mean, what are we? Space jackals? Vultures? Hyenas?
Yes, you are. You're a scavenger.
Matthews responds to Hammer's queries by kicking the shit out of the back of his chair, calling him
You moron.
You moron.
and questioning the veracity of this metaphor.
Don't be comparing us to extinct animals. You'll jinx us. We're recyclers, damn it. Environmentally friendly space recyclers.
And the whole vulture thing is, like, I would never think about my profession that way. It's like in Parasite Eve, the novel, which I fucking read, about how someone expressed regret over having dead people's organs in me, and it's a public shame to have that inside of you.
Oh, interesting.
So space vulture, you're shaming yourself by picking the bones.
Okay. Well,
Tony swoops in to join Hammer's offensive assault.
Master Guinan told us to stay away from any side jobs, remember? He said it hurts the Foundation's image.
So a bunch of salvagers owe money to a guy with a foundation who wants to avoid government attention. This doesn't sound great, Chris.
no. Could the leader of this foundation be a scenario guy?
It's entirely possible. Also, like, Guinan telling the salvagers to not salvage, does he mean not salvage government wrecks or don't salvage, period?
Yeah.
What are the rules here, man? It's their fucking job.
I don't know.
How else does he make money? It's the only life he knows.
Maybe he's against high risk salvaging. Because
which
if you're salvaging the government property, then maybe that's a problem.
Vector property, too, which is probably even more hot than government property.
Yeah.
Then some kind of sensor beeps and all observable trepidation evaporates. Tony spies a wrecked ship at 3 o'clock. It's a Ganymede-class ship.
Ganymede, please.
It's obviously a moon of Jupiter, Chris. In Greek mythology, who was Ganymede?
I don't know, some guy, fast
The
guy.
most beautiful of male Trojans who Zeus stole and made into his cup boy. Free refills for life, motherfucker.
Did you say cup boy?
Yes,
Cup boy.
cup boy.
Cup boy.
Refill my cup, motherfucker, as I've...
I'm alive for this
contextually-
one cup.
That's right.
All right.
Knight of Cups, Christian Bale. Matthews attaboys Tony, then says, good thing we were tapping the UMN emergency channel. Come on, pull in close, hurry. A resigned Hammer replies, yep, we're vultures. Matthews then drops him with some wild, fast animation and asks for Hammer to repeat himself. We briefly then cut to outer space as the Elsa flies through some junk and toward a sparkling point on the horizon. But then we're back on the Elsa, and the next cutscene, we're on the bridge. Everyone's returned to their seats. Hammer is typing some shit. He says,
Spectrum matches up perfectly. It's a geocrystal.
that's like a high-value space diamond.
I guess so, because it's not in the dictionary. I already looked it up.
Fake net, what is a geocrystal?
Initializing fake net.
A crystal made out of one of the shittiest cars of all time, the Geo Metro.
Matthews is pleased. He tells Tony to start with that one. We then cut to a head-on shot of Tony, then to Tony's point of view as he tries to focus on an object drifting in near space. What's the fucking object?
It's a corpse.
It's KOSMOS' character model flipping through space. Tony
Yes.
can't believe it, yelling at Hammer, "That's not a geocrystal, you idiot. It's a corpse."
Yes. This was a battlefield after all, they point out.
That's right. Totally. Matthews very much believes this.
Well, what'd you expect? This is a battlefield. It's no big deal. Don't bother wasting fuel. Just keep going and let it bounce off.
I'm like, you don't even want to steer around it. Matthews wants to splat that corpse. Big time freak shit here, Chris.
Tony pushes back on that a little bit, and he says his dead grandma told him to be respectful of the dead.
Yeah, and Tony also has guns out in his chair. Like he's like pretty and ready for it. He doesn't want any bad karma, and he wants Captain to take control. I guess Matthews can assume control from his station as well if necessary. Matthews then deploys his second moron of this conversation. He then references his dead grandparents, asking Tony, "What is that, your grandfather out there?" He crosses his arms. "Don't be ridiculous. Shut up and keep moving." So
the joke doesn't quite land here.
No.
Like, it's not, like, I feel like maybe there was something lost in translation.
A little bit.
There's maybe a little funny pun going on there, and it didn't quite work out.
It cuts back to Tony scratching the back of his head in an anime pose, a pose I see people do in anime.
Yeah, sure.
KOSMOS is doing flips and shit in open space. "Oh man, not again," Tony tells Matthews. "This is so typical of you, making us do all the dirty work." The camera then pans over to the patterned triangular windows of the Elsa's upper deck. KOSMOS flies by. Then she fucking hits like the lip of one of the windows.
Yeah, she's like stuck on the windowsill, like a pigeon.
And she's seated in a resting position.
Yeah.
Matthews calls Tony a...
"You moron?"
for the third time, then asks, "What the hell are you doing?" "I said bounce it off." Tony proclaims his innocence.
Well, don't look at me. It got stuck on its own. It's not my fault.
Whatever. Just get rid of it.
I'm like, why is there a discussion about the fucking corpse? Just turn left.
Yes.
The camera then does an uncomfortable zoom on a standing Hammer right as he hornies up and notices,
Hey, it's a girl. She might be cute, you know?
My ass, you sicko. Who the hell cares how she looks? She's dead.
He's totally ignoring the fact that 99% of all scenarios of this nature, this would be a corpse.
Yes, that's my next question, actually.
Yes.
Chris, would you bang a cold but perfectly preserved space corpse once thawed?
No.
Okay. Hammer continues his nervous laughter, and Matthews calls Hammer a sicko.
Yeah.
Who the hell cares how she looks? She's dead. I'm Team Matthews.
Yeah, I'm glad that that was an expression of Hammer and not an expression of this video game.
Yep. Because Hammer, we're led to believe, is the idiot. The video game does not want to fuck the corpse, just the character in it.
Yes.
Tony returns to his seat and agrees with Matthews.
Exactly. Besides, she's facing the other way. It's a shame we can't meet face to face.
Everyone here is a fucking space pervert.
Yes. But on cue, Eric, KOSMOS turns around and looks directly at them, like it's a.
It does a smash cut.
It's kind of like a horror like zinger a little bit, but also it's there for laughs.
And the crew screams.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
They're freaked out.
The camera reframes on KOSMOS now with both hands palming the Elsa's window glass, which is also very funny. She's like both hands on it, like a puppy at the mall pet store.
Yeah, I think she's asking them to open up their comms.
It genuinely makes me laugh. I've got the sample here, of course.
Please open your communications line. I need to speak with you. Frequency 2020.
Hammer is aghast at the prospect of a talking corpse. Matthews deploys his fourth moron and then says, "Open your eyes, it ain't no corpse." I'm led to believe androids are, like, it is possible for there to be a Realian or something out here. This could have happened before.
Yeah, I mean, even the captain says as much. He says this could be a Realian or a cyborg.
Yeah.
Which are two different. I mean, KOSMOS is neither, but those are the two sort of ubiquitous types of artificial humans.
This happens all the time.
And the captain at this point in time, at least my read on him, is that he almost knows what time it is.
Yes.
Like he's a worldly man who's been out around in space, but also he's a little dumb, but he still knows what's up.
He's seen some shit. As the elder member of the space crew, while out space trucking, he's seen plenty of space shit.
Lots of good 40-year-olds in this game.
Oh, yeah. A top shelf game for 40-year-olds, more so than Suikoden's geriatric crew. Hammer, voice shaking, protests that he's never heard of a Realian that can operate out in space. And I'm kind of like, why the fuck not? Do they breathe? They're robots inside, right? Well, we're just making up the rules.
Let's think about Virgil here for a second.
Okay.
Would you like to think about Virgil?
I would love thinking more
Remember
about
how
Virgil.
He eats Realians, right?
Yeah.
So Realians have some sort of artificial tissue, artificial flesh. So they probably have an actual pulmonary system.
Living tissue over a cybernetic skeleton.
Yes.
Terminator. All right.
Probably.
A befuddled Matthews assumes it's probably a military robot or something. Just open the goddamn channel. Hammer complies and Matthews clears his throat. Then, speaking into his thumb, gets on the mic.
I'm Captain Matthews of the tramp freighter Elsa. We received your SOS signal earlier. It happened to be within range of our navigational path, so we rushed here to your rescue.
Hammer questions the word rescue, and Matthews responds by big booting Hammer in the back of the head.
Huh? Rescue? Oh!
It's buried very deeply in the audio mix. Both of them say rescue in confusion. Because I thought for a second because I was listening to it on these headphones, and I thought for a second that there was some sort of weird echo malfunction going on, but they like just buried those guys, like, which is cool because like who the fuck is playing this in surround sound in 2003?
I was close. I had 2 Tower Sony speakers blasting it in my eardrums.
Yeah.
Speaking of the mix in this game, it's very good generally, but there are some moments as I've captured hot sounds where there's just voices buried deep in the mix where you can barely hear stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. A professional sounding Matthews then asks if there's anything he can do to assist the robot in space, the space robot who guards the terrible secret of space. A dense Hammer, rubbing the back of his head, asks Matthews what this rescue shit is about, and he asks about their side job. Matthews drops a 5th moron, then under his breath tells Hammer,
Relax, you moron. We're gonna grab what we can while taking care of this little rescue. With this mess, I bet there's no one left alive anyway.
So Matthews is trying to pretend like they're out here for altruistic reasons to the murder robot. The camera pans back up to KOSMOS, who then speaks.
I will make this brief. I request that you gate jump to 2nd Miltia immediately.
So she's all about her operation. Question, Shion's still out in the pod. Are we no longer giving a fuck about Shion?
KOSMOS is not giving a fuck about Shion at this point in time. Like you said before, second priority.
It then reframes KOSMOS standing and still palming the window in a terrifying position above Matthews. Matthews can't believe this shit.
Say what? Oh, yeah. Keep dreaming, sweetheart. We can't leave yet. We still got work to do. And besides, 2nd Miltia? Have you any idea how much it would cost to travel that far?
Chris, is sweetheart a power play here? Is he assuming dominance?
Matthews has seen some shit, and calling a
sentient robot
or a young woman sweetheart is a power play.
Yeah.
Or just something that is sort of baked into who he is.
How he operates. He calls every lady sweetheart, perhaps. KOSMOS replies dutifully, there is no need for concern. We will cover all UMN gate fees incurred. But That's right. That's a good question. That's whoever she's reporting to, right?
Yeah.
Matthews doesn't believe that shit. Even if that were true, we've got other business to attend to right now. We don't have that kind of time.
By the way, I'm still slightly confused about how the UMN is both the internet and space travel.
I think the UMN is the metagel of this game, where it's just like metagel, Mass Effect, could just apply to every wound, fix everything. I think it was even the clips that cooled the fucking clips for Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Oh, metagel.
Metagel, right.
I thought you meant metagel.
It could have been.
And I thought that was no. I thought that you were deploying some term I'd never heard of.
Yes, I rub it on my temples every morning.
The gel of the meta that is holding everything together.
Binds the universe together.
Yes, okay. That's what I thought you were
We just invented that. That's our new podcast idea, metagel, what links every game together. We'll do reverse 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I need to stop talking. So the UMN is the answer to whatever fucking, how do we make this sci-fi work? The answer is the UMN.
Okay.
I think.
Unus Munus.
KOSMOS replies wonderfully, my time is limited as well. Failure to comply will result in the destruction of this window. Matthews calls her bluff, inviting KOSMOS to give it a try, then telling her,
the Elsa's forward window can withstand direct hits from debris as big as 6 millimeters.
That doesn't seem like very much.
It's very much not. My shoe, for example, has a 40 millimeter stack height in the heel, so that's like a pebble.
But I imagine that debris flying through space with no friction to slow it down could fuck you up, right?
I don't think the idea of friction to slow things down and the necessity of propulsion exists in the mind of the makers of this video game. We're not operating by space rules here, Chris. We're operating by space anime rules.
That's true.
KOSMOS stands and the camera frames her from the ground up like she's a kaiju. It then cuts to a shot above KOSMOS standing on the glass above Matthews, and I wonder here if anyone had Resident Evil Village level fantasies about being stepped on by a very powerful woman.
It's hard to say. The internet wasn't big enough yet for us to
Those sickos were out there.
They were out there.
But Matthews continues.
A punch from a girly like you wouldn't even... And then she cuts him off by charging an electric punch, taking a knee, and performing the Wrath of Jesus on the Elsa's window.
Yes. Punches the shit out of the window.
Wouldn't even dent.
One more strike and this window will shatter.
Yes, Matthews is speechless.
It appears that none of you are wearing spacesuits. Keep in mind that I am making this proposal with goodwill. I could just as easily toss you out into space and take over the ship.
Chris, is that true?
Oh, yeah. She could very easily toss these fuckers out into space. Like, I think that she
Is this a robot expressing humanity by not immediately tossing fuckers out? She's under a time crunch.
That is true. That is true. But, I mean, there probably would be some value in keeping these guys around, right?
True, maybe.
In order to it.
Maybe their connections to the Kukai Foundation make them valuable.
Yeah, that's true. Also, a couple of things about that scene is that, like, when the captain first threatened her about, like, or tried to call her on her bluff or whatever, and she punched the window, he barely had time to retract his hand from his... He had extended his hand to kind of threaten her or point her. He barely had time to, like, he was, like, just...
Yeah, she reacted
frozen,
like in milliseconds.
Yeah, he was kind of frozen in place. Also, we get a brief shot of Tony praying to God during
Yes, Hammer hides behind a chair. Tony, eyes down, hands folded to pray, seems resigned to death. Matthews takes a second, then screams that it's okay. They'll do it. He asks Cosmos not to be so rash. But Chris, the robot is vengeful. She replies,
Had you accommodated me from the outset, we would have saved 1 minute 45 seconds. I am coming on board now. Please open the cargo bay.
Matthews huffs and puffs and agrees, but the camera pans over to Tony, whose left hand is near some kind of lever by the bottom of the seat.
Yeah, he's about to jam the throttle or something.
Yeah, pull up the air brakes so that they just fly by. Cosmos notices this action, then tells Tony,
Do not accelerate in an attempt to knock me off. If you do so, I will destroy the engine and the entire ship with it.
Chris, that's revenge. That's not practical at that point.
Not at all.
Hammer nods his head, acknowledging that was their plan, and Matthews yells at Hammer to shut up. This is twice now. Hammer's almost blown the plan. Is Hammer a dope?
Yes.
Like compelled to tell the truth and not like play the game of weird salvagers?
Yeah, I mean, he was already having issues with even being a salvager, right? In this kind of situation, right?
Hyenas. Cosmos performs a leaping backflip and glides down the side of the Elsa. Down the side of the Elsa, we can also see its full name emblazoned on the side of the craft. It's Elsa von Brabant. Chris, does that mean anything to you?
No.
Elsa von Brabant is a figure from the Middle High German Swan Knight legend from the late 13th century. She is a marginal figure in Wolfram von Eschenbach's epic Parsifal. She gained new fame as the main female protagonist in Richard Wagner's opera, Lohengrin. So that's our second Wagner reference.
Would you like to know some more about the Elsa?
Absolutely.
Eric, the Elsa is 166 meters long, and it weighs...
What's that in feet, dude? Give me the imperial... I demand imperial measurements.
166 meters is...
If you can't do this, I'm going to ask the fucking fake net.
I could do it, but I'm just bad at thinking of math on the spot.
It's 544 feet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I can now picture distances of measurements of meters now because of my kids running track and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
But anyway, it is a Lohengrin, which is the name of the opera, class high-velocity interstellar cruiser. Formerly a luxury vessel owned by a criminal organization. It was converted into a cargo ship by Captain Matthews and used as part of the Kukai Foundation's fleet.
That does explain why the upper floors are still plush and nice and the bottom decks are just like
shitty,
stripped.
Though not apparent from the outside, Matthews made quite a few modifications, such as the installation of hidden compartments to stow unlicensed weapons. He also upgraded the propulsion system to the latest logic propulsion device, making it the fastest ship in the galaxy, according to Tony.
So we're just driving the Millennium Falcon? Is that what we're doing here?
Basically, yeah. That's probably one of the primary pieces of inspiration here. And you already said as much, but the in-game dictionary also does say the name Elsa comes from the heroine of Wagner's opera Lohengrin from 1850.
Of course. I've got late 13. It doesn't matter. Oh, the opera is that. The legend. Never mind.
Legend of Opera.
Cut it. Fuck it. We get, I think, our first mid-cut scene. Hey, man, do you want to save option? Of course, man. I fucking want to save. The background is a cover of Cosmos. We're back to the Elsa. Cosmos and Matthews are casually chatting on the bridge. Hammer buzzes in to say he's got someone on the open channel. Matthews wonders who that could be, survivors maybe, and Hammer resolves to put the incoming call on speaker. A garbled voice is audible.
Yep.
Hello? Is anybody out there?
To me, that sounds like Alan, which, yeah, when did Cosmos get separated from surfing the escape pod? Did she, like, aim herself to drift and then launch off of it in the general direction?
She probably has some sort of propulsion, though, that she can use, like, shoot out of her back or her boots or something, right?
Boots, heels, please.
Yes, Baphomet feet. Excuse me. It's funny, too, that Alan is the one that is out here trying to make meaningful... He's trying to make meaningful contact with someone like he always is. Mm-hmm. So he's...
yes, you've summarized Alan.
He's
trying to make meaningful contact with someone.
He was born for this. He was born to beg for help in the dead of space.
That's what he's best at. We cut to open space. Amid the debris field is a curious whole object. The camera zooms in to find Cherenkov in the frog splash position, gripping tightly to the Waglinde's escape pod itself, resembling something of a portable toilet with the edges sandaled off.
From the outside, it does kind of look like it's just a giant refrigerator.
It's a porta potty.
Is that? Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Lights on its corners.
I shit in my fridge.
I have no comeback for that. Usually I'm like instantly, like I'm quick, I improvise well. I got nothing. You shit in your fridge. Fucking good for you, man. Lights on its corners blink like airplane wing lights. The segment is completely silent like space is fade to black. Inside the escape pod, it's a stacked two-seater, almost like a cockpit. There's a workstation, some kind of desk on the left side, 3 tubes of shit, and what appears to be a paper towel dispenser or hand dryer on the back wall. One blue LED appears to be lighting the entire escape pod. Both Alan and Shion are locked in with over-the-head roller coaster restraints.
Yeah.
A frantic Alan grabs the mic, radioing for help. He suggests Shion give it a shot, but she tries to calm him down.
Don't worry. A rescue ship will come for us eventually. I'm more concerned about KOSMOS. Now, where could she be?
When she
The optimist.
Yeah, and also when she tells him that, she uses an authority hand. She's like, don't...
Really? She's
Yeah.
like the panicky Alan?
Yeah, yeah.
In my relationship, I'm definitely the one with maximum anxiety who worries about getting to places on time and all kinds of shit. So
Yeah.
I understand the calming effect of the authority hand.
Yes. Shion then puts her face in her hands, though, wondering where KOSMOS could be.
Shion has a greater interest in her robot child than worker safety. Besides, we're not out of the woods yet. I mean, the Gnosis might still be around.
Meanwhile, Alan waves his hand like Shion's confidence
I put Alan claps back.
in being rescued is fart.
Farce is a farce. Perhaps you meant farce.
Oh, I think somebody that is Alan's going like this.
Oh, like somebody farted.
Okay, so Shion is projecting her confidence that they're going to be fine towards Alan, and to
Alan perceives it as a farce.
Yes, and he's going like that.
Hell no.
Yes, he's getting it away from his face.
Shion doesn't give a fuck. She says, I'm not worried about that right now. We have to retrieve KOSMOS. There's a roller mouse module that extends near Shion's right hand, and she starts controlling shit to the screen that appears in front of her. Alan, though, keeps worrying.
If I knew this was gonna happen, I wouldn't have let everyone else go first. Maybe they're still around. You think?
I can't believe you.
So the Vector crew lives.
Yeah.
Also, is Alan's dream not to be in an escape pod with Shion? Have we established whether or not this is a romantic pursuit or whether he just really wants to do good at work?
If it is a romantic pursuit, he is totally missing his opportunity here to connect with Shion in a situation.
Next question. Has Shion done anything in this game that is not about work yet, other than talk to Jin?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going to say. Talk to Jin. That's it. She took her jacket off once.
Take some time off.
Yeah.
An incensed Shion replies,
Alan, how can you be so insensitive after all that's happened?
so he must be like burning inside now, right?
Yeah.
It cuts to the Elsa. All this dialogue is now audible, playing over the Elsa speakers. Tony turns around to look at it. Matthews walks over to Hammer and places his left hand on Hammer's shoulder.
At this point in time, Alan and Shion are arguing about, is Alan traumatized or not?
Yes.
What do you mean? Of course I'm traumatized. Chief, that was really uncalled for.
And I'm on Team Alan here, man. Shion needs to reconnect to humanity a little bit. Alan continues.
Do you think that I'm an emotionless android?
Sick burn, dude.
Yes. And it's like, look, the human, there is a human sitting here who is compartmentalizing, and she is accusing Alan of being the android.
Yeah. Get off your goddamn phones and have a human relationship.
She is the android.
Yes.
Here. Shion is.
Shion is being more android than all of the androids. Shion counters, telling Alan she never said anything like that, which is not true. Again, I'm Team Alan. Alan agrees with me, Eric. You just did. You think I'm an android, don't you? The Elsa crew is still listening to this in silence, which is honestly a pretty funny moment.
Yeah.
Hammer shrugs his shoulders while Matthews, channeling Star Ocean, reacts appropriately with a,
What the hell?
You moron.
KOSMOS interrupts the uncomfortable voyeurism, reaches over Hammer, and contacts Shion.
The most unrealistic thing about this is that KOSMOS should not be waiting at all.
Yeah.
To listen to this. KOSMOS would get on the comms immediately.
That's a good point.
But anyway.
Back in the escape pod, it pulls up a camera with Hammer, KOSMOS, and Matthews. Back on the Elsa, a screen taking up the entire front of the ship appears with Shion's face on it. It's weird, like it's just over the entire bridge. Shion demands to know where KOSMOS is, and KOSMOS replies,
I am on board a civilian ship passing through the area. Please remain at your current locale. A Federation rescue vessel should arrive soon.
Shit, dude. Shion deflates, her anger turning to a sense of crushing disappointment. She lowers her arms and replies,
Remain here? KOSMOS, just what are you up to?
I think just what are you up to? I'm curious what the original Japanese was in that, because she's still treating KOSMOS like a child?
Baby, yeah.
Like, what are you up to, you old rascal? KOSMOS takes some steps toward the screen and replies,
I am commandeering this ship to go to 2nd Miltia. These are my orders from headquarters.
Headquarters, dude. Vector. Vector is her connection, or is it the Federation?
If she's just saying headquarters to Shion, then you would assume that it's Vector, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I bet KOSMOS reports to Vector before the Federation.
Yeah.
Alan also cannot believe this shit, that KOSMOS is going to second Miltia and that she's leaving without him and Shion. KOSMOS gives it to Alan straight.
Unfortunately, you were not mentioned in my orders. Therefore, this mission takes priority.
Alan uses more 19th and 20th century metaphors in his response. He says, "Oh, I see. What do you expect us to sit here around all day and wait for the cavalry?" KOSMOS tells Alan that this is a logical conclusion. It cuts back to the pod, and Alan is watching all of this shit through his own PDA, even though Shion's screen is only 3 feet away. He asks KOSMOS to wait a second, then asks what guarantee do they have that the Federation will even dispatch a rescue. Quote,
Wait a second! What guarantee do we have that the Federation will dispatch a rescue? Hey, what if no one comes? The two of us will starve to death inside this pod!
does anyone give a shit that Cherenkov is outside of this thing?
does anyone know?
It's a good point. Well, I don't know. Surely when... That's a good point. I was going to say, yeah, does anyone know? It's a great, excellent question.
Shion then deploys a mom voice.
Mm-hmm.
So like it ties back into the whole thing with treating KOSMOS like a child. Saying that she cannot, tells her, you cannot act independently, which is actually what you say to a child when they want to do something that they're
How's that
not
go when you tell a
authorized
child?
to do. At some point, you have to arm yourself with the phrase, you're a kid.
Does that work?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. Like, why can't I stay up later? You're a kid.
I'm the boss.
Yes, you're a
Established
kid.
dominance.
Kids need more sleep. Sorry.
You missed a comedy joke from the robot.
Oh, I did?
The Facts and Logic robot replies, actually, suffocation would come first. Your air supply will be depleted in 46 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So they won't starve, they'll suffocate.
46 hours to live.
And they have a 96% probability that a rescue vessel will arrive in 15 hours. Your chance of survival is high, but it's not a certainty. KOSMOS comes back with, Shion is not going to allow it. KOSMOS comes back with,
There is no time for this. I am signing off. Shion, Alan, please take care.
do you think Alan is happy with that acknowledgement?
Senpai noticed me?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Basically. Shion commands KOSMOS to wait 1 second.
You better bring us on board, or I'll open the hatch. You hear me?
This is quick thinking, Chris, but I don't think threatening suicide to compel the robot to do something would be hitting quite this early in the game.
Yeah, but she's not necessarily arming herself with this, this is not a play to KOSMOS' emotions.
Is she doing the robot law thing? Prevent harm
it's
to...
protocol, facts, and logic right here.
Because it lessens their chances of survival significantly if she threatens to kill herself?
Yes, because it is in part of her orders to keep Vector personnel safe, right?
Yeah.
And if she can impact that situation, then she has to.
Shion makes it clear, listen to me, KOSMOS. You know what'll happen if I turn this lever, right? Doesn't this go against your directive? After all, you're supposed to bring us back alive. Am I right? And Alan begins to freak out here.
Yeah.
What? What are you doing, Chief? Please, don't do anything crazy.
Be quiet, Alan.
The camera cuts to KOSMOS' face where she remains stoic for 5 or 6 seconds. The robot is thinking. KOSMOS decides to call Shion's bluff.
You are delaying me from my mission. I suggest you do as you please.
Do you think she's actually trying to call her on a bluff, or is she just...
I don't know if robots can call bluffs.
Washing her hands of the situation?
Because I would
she
think...
has a priority mission.
Like, of all people, KOSMOS probably has the greatest emotional data on Shion because that's her point of interaction in the Encephalon. So I don't know. It's a great question.
But then, Eric...
Yeah.
Just in the nick of time, an anime boy comes in from the side door of the Elsa, stretching like he just got up from a nap.
I mean, Shion pulls that lever, an alarm goes off.
Yeah,
Cabin flashes. Alan fucking loses it.
It's happening.
She's really gonna do it!
This boy...
He's great first line.
He has some sincere anime special boy advice for KOSMOS.
Why not help her? Sounds like she means it.
Before that, when KOSMOS is staring at the screen, I swear to God, there's a hint of a smile.
From KOSMOS?
Yeah.
Wow.
The camera pans around to reveal Chaos.
Yes.
Lowercase Chaos, and I swear to God, taking notes on this game, lowercase Chaos, KOSMOS all capitalized, Junior JR dot.
Yeah.
Like,
Momo all caps.
Momo all caps.
Momo all caps.
Yep.
Ziggurat, Ziggy, whatever. Chaos is a green-eyed, tanned, white-hair, elfish boy man yawning and stretching after waking up from a nap.
Yeah. All lowercase, no way this guy is mysterious and important. Can't happen. Also, he looks just like the shadowy figure we saw in the Zohar grayscale zone a bit earlier when Shion was having a little bit of a freak out.
Also, did you notice he didn't step out of the elevator? He just materialized.
Oh, no, I didn't.
I don't know if that was like an oversight where the door just was. The door was already closed. Like he just walked out.
Oh. I think there was a sound, though.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
Could be.
Definitely, we'll hear it. Sounds like she means it, he continues. This is Chaos, lowercase in our hearts, but uppercase in my notes, or else I'll go insane. Chris, in the first episode of Xenosaga only, Chaos is voiced by
Derek Stephen Prince.
You may have also heard his voice as Vexen in a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games, Ruya Ishida in that Bleach game Chris played, and Takaya Sakaki in Persona 3.
I mean, Uryu Ishida is a character from Bleach the anime.
The Bleach game, it's in my notes, the Bleach game Chris played.
Okay. But
which
also,
I think was called Dark Souls, which is really funny.
There was Bleach, Dark Souls, and there was the one before. Those are good games. Those are good
Treasure
games.
made one of them. I think both of them, maybe.
Yeah. Derek Stephen Prince also voiced Shino Arubame from Naruto. That's the bug guy. Remember him? Bug guy, big jacket. Yeah. Also Sanosuke from Rurouni Kenshin.
Do we want to stop mentioning Kenshin at some point? Like, do we have to keep doing that?
I mean...
It's fine.
It exists, right?
Okay, yeah, it's there.
It exists.
It's already made.
If we were doing a thing on Pamela Adlon, we would say, oh, she was in
Louis C.K. That's a good point. Yeah. It's an excellent analogy, actually. Yeah, what's the dictionary say about chaos?
Well, Eric, chaos, born unknown, age unknown. That's
Parts
not
unknown.
That's not weird at all.
Nope. No data.
A slender young boy, his perpetually melancholic expression, as well as the depth and scope of his conversations, give rise to the impression that he hails from a higher plane of existence.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's I may even be Xenosaga 2. There's a point when someone calls him by a different name, and I remember just throwing my controller and leaving the room.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Fuck, the activations are coming. As he volunteers no information whatsoever about his past other than his name, everything about him, including whether he even has a memory of his past, is unknown. His relationship with Matthews and the crew appears to go back for quite some time, and they all respect him highly. His translucent blue eyes and silver hair are particularly notable features. ButtCoin from the RealNet says, pushes up nerd glasses. KOSMOS is Greek for order, so chaos is supposed to be the counterpoint to all capitals from KOSMOS. You know what kind of game we're playing, Eric.
Yeah, this is the kind of game it is. Look, one's uppercase, one's lowercase.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's all in the text. Read the fucking text.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Elsa crew treats all of this casually, with Matthews greeting the newcomer with, "Hey, Chaos, you're up." The camera cuts to a scene from behind Chaos's head where their alarms are blasting. Shion's looking quizzically, and KOSMOS seems to be holding every life here in the palm of her hands. Chaos saunters down the bridge and says,
"With all this racket, who could sleep?"
The camera briefly cuts to a frame of a silent Shion and KOSMOS staring at Chaos, bewildered. So he's also enchanting these people?
Yeah. He owns the room.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We then cut, and is this more powerful than KOSMOS? We then cut to KOSMOS' robot vision. She acquires Chaos as a target as he walks over to Matthews, who has begun smoking. Matthews puts his arm around Chaos, hugging him while Chaos points to some shit at Hammer's workstation. KOSMOS plays and replays the replay of Chaos entering the bridge.
Yeah, it lingers for quite a bit.
There's a bunch of text data on the screen, but it's all too small for me to read of this YouTube video. Chaos then turns to face KOSMOS and walks toward her, which sets off a pitched buzzing sound in her vision. I'm like, not good.
By the way, it's also too small for me to read in a direct feed capture.
Yeah,
so
I
can't do it.
I don't think it's legible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually anything.
Yeah.
But then it cuts back to real life. Chaos weirdly puts his right hand on KOSMOS' left shoulder and then says,
"So, is that okay with you?"
And Chris, you enlightened me about some shoulder touching that I was not aware of in my work environment. Can you tell the listeners about your observations here?
Yeah, well, I think how this scene was supposed to be read, or how it was supposed to play out, was a moment, like a genuine moment of KOSMOS not understanding human touch.
He jammed her programming.
Yeah. But I think this because there's no way that the men who made this game were aware of creepy man shoulder touching. Because I don't know what the...
Invented long ago, but only noticed recently.
I don't know what the gender makeup of the people who work in this game, but this game was probably made by mostly men.
I would assume so.
Yeah. It's a safe assumption. Xenosaga worked in this game, though, right? So.
True.
But I am acutely aware of creepy men shoulder touching in the workplace, and it makes my skin crawl every time I see it.
Is this when a man, to address a woman, puts a hand onto her shoulder?
Yeah, either to react to something, to say, "Oh, you're so," "Oh, I can't believe you said," that kind of thing, as a way to acknowledge something that was said, to extend that touch. And I think it's weird that people do that. But it is close to like slapping your buddy in the back, but you don't do that in the workplace.
No, I don't touch anyone at work. I've actually been inventorying that. I don't think I've touched a coworker even since before COVID.
I can specifically remember a moment in which somebody that I worked with, this was years ago, was leaving the department or leaving the company or something.
Last day.
And she was going down the line and giving everybody a hug or whatever.
Hell yeah.
But I'm not.
Step out?
Yes. I'm not a huggy person. I just
not a hugger.
See you around. Bye. Can't do it.
It's no good.
Were you the only one to decline the hug? That's weird. I think if like the 10 people in the line give a hug, I think you're obligated.
I think it was only 4, so it was like, 25% of the people.
Just tell her that you have a farting problem. That's what I always do.
Yeah. You can tell when someone doesn't want to be hugged.
That's right. No, get the fuck off me.
KOSMOS replies with 2 Mega Man blinks. Chaos assumes this is acquiescence and says that KOSMOS doesn't have any objections to the rescue of Shion, right?
Your Mega Man analogy, it's I put when I ask my cat any question, there's fucking nothing there going on.
Never assume that silence is a lack of objections, kids.
So it's all up to you, Captain. What do you say? I think we ought to rescue them. KOSMOS moves her left hand to her right elbow and holds it there, which is more of a human gesture than anything we've seen before.
If you ever get married, there will always be objectors in the audience. They just won't say anything.
This is true. That is absolutely true. Did Chaos just transfer a weird-ass bit of humanity into KOSMOS? Is her humanity upped by 2% now? Is she befuddled?
I think she's befuddled. Yeah.
Chaos to her order, if you will. God damn it, I hate that I know that.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It makes the podcast better. Because now I get to think about that through every interaction these two have. I'm going to be paying specific attention to their interactions from now on. Fuck, I just thought of a scene Lee does later. Shit.
Because the order of the situation would be KOSMOS going to accomplish her priority 1 mission.
Yeah.
The Chaos,
letting Shion kill herself.
The Chaos is reintroducing Alan, Shion, and Cherenkov to the situation. Wow. By the way, during this, as the Chaos goes and suggests to the captain that we rescue Shion and friends, the captain
he waves his cigarette hand around.
He's smoking a Virginia Slim 120 right there, buddy. Like, it's a long-ass cigarette. As somebody who used to peddle cigarettes, I know all the brands. By peddle cigarettes, I mean like worked at the counter where I got the cigarettes.
Right, from above the thing, I remember.
Yeah.
Well, if you say so, sure, I don't mind. And my question is like, what the fuck has Chaos done to these people? He's just neutralized the testosterone and anger everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there is a huge mystery going on here with the nature of Chaos, but also like...
The nature of Chaos, a real sentence.
Fucking hell. But also like, why are these roughneck dudes hanging out with an anime boy?
What the fuck is he doing here? Did I pick him up? Is he getting a ride?
Guys named Tony don't hang out with anime boys.
That's true.
Have you ever met a guy named Tony who watches anime? Exactly.
I never have.
Please don't think about it, because
Anthony.
I need my analogy to work. Like you said, Chaos does seem to command some sort of authority.
It's like he's Chaos on the ship.
Huh. Oh, weird.
Chris, Chaos has a friendly little wave over at Tony, which I'm reading into too much. We then cut out to space where the Elsa's thrusters fire and power it through the debris field. It cuts to a head-on shot of the Elsa drifting through space right before the escape pod slides through the left side of the screen. Cherenkov is still riding that shit.
Yes.
The Elsa's cargo bay opens and the escape pod makes its way to drift inside. Cherenkov is crushed to death by the impact. Slowly it fades to black. I made up that last bit.
Yeah. If you were playing this game for the first time and you hadn't really taken a great mental inventory of all the characters, then you would just think that there was just
a fucking guy.
Some spaceman.
Yeah, Cherenkov would not have been terribly important to me. Like as important as Caspis or as Moriyama, who I'm pretty sure is dead. I think Moriyama, we've established he's dead.
Yeah. Is Vandercom dead?
Is that spoilers?
I don't know.
He's not dead.
Okay. Let's break it off, Eric.
Is Cherenkov really dead? Find out the next episode of Retro Made Griegeman.
Let's consult the RealNet.
Initializing RealNet.
So those who are wondering if we would get to Ziggurat 8 tonight, we did not get to Ziggurat 8.
God damn.
You know what's funny, though, is like...
We didn't play the game. No, we did play the game.
We are through like 2 hours of cutscenes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're kind of making good progress, I think.
Yeah, like it seems like we're not making very good progress, but we're through, at least to the point to where I'm taking notes on now. I'm through like 2.5, 3 hours of cutscenes.
Like right now, I'm expecting this to be a 40, maybe high 30s, early 40s episode count.
Yeah, we'll see. When it comes to Kabbalah, Transcend Crisp says Madonna or Final Fantasy VII or Evangelion. Yeah, those are the 3 entry points to Kabbalah.
Those are all relatively close to each other too, right?
Yeah. Grace One Deer posted a picture of Scud, the disposable assassin, and says that this design sort of slaps.
Scud's actually okay. I gave it too much shit.
I kind of like the design, though. I don't know about the game. I've never seen the game. John Doe says, are we calling KOSMOS a sex golem? I think during the rescue of, when they were being weird about it. Eric Vanine looked up Kukai in Japanese.
Oh, yeah, we should have
and got 3 different definitions.
Okay.
You pick which one works best. Number 1, gathering of haiku poets.
I like it.
Yes. Number 2, sea of suffering, human realm. It's from Buddhism. And number 3, ward assembly.
I think that's the holy trinity we need. We need to believe in all 3 of these simultaneously.
I agree. Kal-El says some people say space is like a sea of suffering. John Doe says space junkers. I think you mean men of the space sea. These are the kind of men.
These are men of the sea.
That's a whiff, right?
It's a fucking captain. Yeah, that totally. The
Missed
captain,
whiff. Can we whiff during the real nets?
Whiff it off.
That's 11. Dark Priest shaft confirmed. That's real. Eric Fernandez says, very funny. These guys got the distress signal and went, shit, we can loot some stuff.
I mean, if you're a salvager, that is your mentality. You're always looking for that opportunity.
Yeah, it's true. ButtCoin says, Elsa crew immediately giving off insane pervert vibes. Yeah, they were. The captain kind of brought us back to Earth a little bit.
Yeah, like I think the captain does it as just kind of talking around the ship, whereas I think Hammer would genuinely be into this shit.
Yeah.
And like Tony would be there too, but he just wants to watch.
Yeah. TC says Matthews went to the Han Solo School of Space Trucking.
It's the only space trucker school I know of. Well, I guess the crew of Alien are space truckers as well.
Elliot pops in and says, my contribution is to remind you all that Cosmos and Shion are lovers and lesbian, and also I love gay people dearly. Good night. Enjoy the recording session.
I've heard that theory.
Eric Fernandez says some wild crisp lore tonight. I think that's about shitting in my refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm going to not pursue any further questions about that. If that was cut from the show, you may hear that in the outtakes, or it could be in the show. It depends on how things happen.
Cliff Racer posted a screenshot of Shion and Alan speaking in their roller coaster thing, escape pod.
Yeah.
And says, I love how expressive the characters are in cutscenes. Like, you can see the dynamic here, which I think is very true. They, like, in the era of dead-eyed PS2 models, these are great.
They're pretty good. And these majority of them aren't CG. They are video files of in-game models, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't see any compression, so I think it's just like them. I don't know how video games work.
I don't either.
What are video games anyway?
It's fucking bullshit.
7-8 says, I love this boy. Subtlety is for cowards. Name the boy Chaos. Hell fucking yeah.
This is a subtlety is for cowards game.
Yeah. Cliff Racer says, Chaos is cool because he's the only person on the Elsa who dresses like it's 2,000 years in the future. It's true. They're all wearing just fucking bullshit.
Like, you can tell that Chaos has some supernatural power because the response that I expect from Matthews upon seeing this boy is just a simple what the fuck.
Yeah, it's true. Cliff Racer says Alan is properly afraid for his life because unlike Shion, he realizes he isn't the main character of this universe.
He knows.
John Doe says, I love that Cosmos is straight up ready to fucking leave Shion in space, and the only thing that prevents him from doing this is her RoboCop-style tiered list of directives. Yep.
True.
Cliff Racer posted a screenshot. Lots of good screenshots coming from Cliff Racer tonight. If you screenshot the time in which Cosmos is scanning Chaos over and over again, Cliff Racer says if you screenshot, you can see that her visual, audio, tactile, and olfactory senses are down from 98% to 91%.
From her space travel? Did that fuck her up, you mean? Or is it a charge?
Merely observing Chaos is fucking her up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Eric Fernandez says the Cowboy Bebop episode Heavy Metal Queen is some peak space trucking. I agree with that. Watch Cowboy Bebop, not the Netflix one. That's all I've got for the RealNet tonight. Thank you, RealNet, for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. This episode was a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on July 27, 2023. You can find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. Email us podcast at retrogradeamnesia.com. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam and get early access, bonus episodes, miniseries, and access to the RealNets. Ad-free episodes, too, by the way. Thank you, Mark Shepard, for the intro music.
You're welcome, Chris.
And thanks to WorldSyn for the podcast artwork. Until next time, Eric.
I don't know that there is a god or that God can be killed in this game, but we're going to try it, I guess.
My external appearance is down 5%. Eric, I need to be cleaned. I was chatting with him a bit, and I didn't get a chance to go, but they were having a fucking Gundam building event at Great Flood Brewery.
Wow.
Where people were, he said like 12 to 20 people were going to meet up and just all hang out and build Gundams.
That sounds pretty awesome. Are you going to do it?
No, it was a few weeks ago. I couldn't.
Is there going to be another one? In the Mexico area of Epcot in 1996, I bought a mini sombrero to attach to my cat.
Cool. Great. Well, Donald Duck does it, so it's okay.
That's right. Three caballeros.
Yes.
Caballeros.
I'm not caught up on Righteous Gemstones. I'm still on season 1, but I'm almost done with it, I think. But I heard Sturgill was in the 3rd season. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that. They released the song, that gospel song that he did, but I didn't listen to it because I want to like just hear it in the show.
The 2nd season, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but Uncle Baby Billy's kid The actor who plays that floored me.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching like 3 episodes a night. I'm staying up way too late.
Pretty good.
It. Yeah, I can't stop watching it. Anyway, yeah. What's with? Do you get gnats in your house all the fucking time?
Fucking shitload, dude. Like it is a plague. We can't stop. We pour bleach down the drains, and it works for like a week and a half, and they're back in full force.
Okay, I just
bleach your drains. That shit helps.
Brooke brought some sort of contraption that trap that.
Oh, we've got those. It catches all of them, but they just respawn.
Yeah.
The bleach thing fucking nails them where it hurts.
I just want to make sure I'm not doing something wrong as a homeowner.
Did she buy the thing that's got the sticky pad on it?
No, she bought the thing that you plug into the wall that has a blue light.
Pheromones? Fucking bullshit, dude.
It has a blue light. It catches them.
I was going to warn you against sticky things because animals sniff those and get them stuck to their fur, face, and whiskers, and that shit also sucks.
Okay.
An apprehensive almost called him hamster. The camera then does an uncomfortable zoom on a standing hammer right as he...
Because I don't know if we said this. Let's go ahead and access Thriller real quick.
We'll bleep it. Do you remember what that name was?
Is it Yahweh or something? No.
You're close. Do you want to know? Or do you want to leave it a surprise?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Surrender the negative.
I need to tell you something else that we're going to cut. For some reason, I was running recently and I was thinking about Thundercracker, and I started laughing my ass off when your reference for Suikoden 2's localization being fucked up by saying multiple Thundercracker situation.
Yes.
Like Thundercracker's the funniest possible transformer to use in that for some fucking...
Yeah, it's just because it's so many syllables. That's why. You could get the same point across with Skywarp, but Thundercracker just works better.
Thundercracker talks more.
Playtime's over!